Hey, how's it going? It's Rocky. Welcome to week 11 of our trading journey, trading the futures. You can tell here I do have my 6-month-old daughter. She's asleep, so I may be whispering here and there, but hopefully the audio is good. I made sure it's at the right setting this time. Last week it wasn't the best there, and if she ever shows her face, just because my wife and I want to keep her privacy, then I'll just blur it after the fact later. But hopefully she stays asleep throughout this entire content. So for this week, I wanted to show you what my performance was. If you've been following this week, you know it's a really, really bad week. But uh, just want to go through that and I'll run through the very bad trade that I have and that trade, hopefully something you can learn from and never do, and we can add that trade or this content to my wall of shame playlist. All right, so let's get started here. All right, so I'm going to bring up the NinjaTrader where I do my trading, and shows here my live account, and you can see that dip. This dip in the bottom there for the 1 month chart. It was a pretty significant dip, and let's see exactly how significant that dip is. So we'll go to our statements, go to account balance history. Now we'll look for this week. Change that date up to March 8th. All right, and let me turn on my filter just to hide my account information, and then pressing go. There you go. So you should see it right away. This was not a good week. I lost 14,000 on Monday. It's There's no excuse for it. I've done it in the past. I keep doing this to myself, and I'll just run through my thoughts there on the actual trade and what actually happened. Uh, Took a break the next day just to gather myself. Then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday was pretty good. This is how I normally trade. If Monday didn't occur, this would have been a really great week, but it is what it is. Going to Let's put the calculator here so we can calculate exactly what the damage was for this one. And let me just take those drawings out. Okay, so our ending cash for the week is $2,070.66. And our starting cash was $15,222.06. So for the week, unfortunately, it is a negative $13,151.40 week. And just to be consistent with my previous content, divide that by 40. If you had a 40-hour week, I was losing $328 per hour, which is not something sustainable, but we learn from it and we move on. All right, so next I will bring up the hourly chart, and what I'm showing here is the entire 2 weeks. And the reason I wanted to show the entire 2 weeks is just so you have an idea of what the dip was, because up here is around 44,000, and then down here we got down to 40,000. So this is 4,000 points. That's a lot. That's that's a lot of points that it dipped by. And next I will show you the trades that I took this week. Turn on the lines. The week pretty much started. Let me just draw a line just to show you when the day started. Be right here. So from this point forward is for this week. You can see this big blob right here. This is when I was long and had a significant loss. And then throughout the week, just took little trades here and there, long and short, and was able to recover about $1,500 or so. Now, as requested, I'm gonna go through the specific trade and my thoughts on what happened, and hopefully this doesn't happen to you. So I'll go to the chart that I use for trading, And okay. Let me actually disable my camera because you won't be able to see what's going on. Oh, okay. So here on the left is time base, right is tick base. I'm gonna zoom in right to my entry first, just so I can talk about what I was thinking or what the game plan was. So from here, essentially that weekend, there was already a lot of tariff talks that it was going to happen. And even though there was tariff talks, you can see that when it opened, it was moving up. So in my mind, I was like, hey, this tariff thing is already priced in, and there shouldn't be any freakouts because, you know, in my mind, it's priced in, and the market is reacting from the futures market is reacting up. So this should be a good move to go long. So my bias was already long at that point. So time and tick base, you can see how it's going up. And then from this trade, you can see on my entry here on the time base side when I did enter, stochastic RSI was in the overbought, and then overbought also on this tick basis is when I like to go long. And then the crossover, you can see here, at crossover, it was going long, and on here, it was also sort of diverging. And I'm going to zoom in a bit on the actual entry. All right, let's see. So on the actual entry here, can't really see it much from the time base, a little bit, but you can see that right when I entered, I was actually up. So in this window right here in the upper left, you can see I was up for the next 10 minutes. So really, I could have moved my stop to have some profit there. And you can see right here too in the tick base, I entered on just that white candle. And maybe I shouldn't have. But the real problem here is that I normally have a 60 point stop. So 60 point stop is roughly, okay, my entry was 42,690, 630 is around right here. So that's where my stop should have been. That's when I should have ended my trade. However, I have a tendency to give myself, because I know I would always move my stop. So I have this logic where I'm like, okay, I can move it up to 100 points, which is right here, just so the act of doing it, I fulfill it, but really my ultimate stop is 100 points. And then it just kept dipping and dipping and dipping. I should have taken my loss, but I did not know how to take my loss. So that was the big problem there. And in my mind, I was like, okay, I was trading two contracts. I could handle a $10,000 drop. So I put my stop right at 1,000 points. So 42, so 690. So what was that? Let's just say 42, 690. 41 oh, it's not, it doesn't even show in the chart. So my stop was like way lower than where it did dip during this time. But let me zoom out to actually see this a lot better. Okay, there you go. Zoom in on both sides. So my actual stop was actually 42,690. I went to 41,690. So my actual stop, is that correct? 41,690 was right here. This is gonna be my actual stop. I told myself 1,000 points, $10,000. It's a little crazy, but I'll risk that much. Again, these are the bad habits that I picked up from trading funding firms and prop firm that I really want to get out of my system. But anyway, it just kept dipping, and then there was a point here that I thought I saw a reversal. So it was right here. I did DCA two more. At that point, it was just really just too much. I shouldn't have added contracts. The reason that I did add, if you look on the tick base on the right here, this is where I added because it was looking like it was going to recover a bit, which has happened in the past. And then that brought my new average to be 42,490. And we were actually about 100 points away from breaking even. But unfortunately, it just, the tariff talks, the uncertainty, it just goes dipping and dipping, and I was unwilling to take a loss. So it ended up being a very bad week on that day. Uh, you know, $14,000 is a lot of money. Hoping we can recover that, but it will take some time to recover that this year. And yeah, that's my wall of shame, I guess, for the week. Hopefully this doesn't happen to you. My biggest take on this is take your loss. Just definitely take your loss, and also your trade theory. It doesn't matter. The market will always be right. So just believe in your technical analysis. Don't try to mix it with fundamental analysis because it can get quite tricky. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. I forgot to mention in the very beginning the disclaimer. This is for informational and entertainment purposes only and should not be relied upon as a basis for investment decisions. All right, I'll see you all on the next one. Keep this going every week. And thank you for tuning in. Have a good weekend. All right, I'll see you all in the next one.